Okay, boomer.
Down south, hood baby, bang on girls, go crazy, go crazy.
Go stupid. But you smart like an A+ student. Right now, looking for your love right now. Up down, all around, turn my stomach upside down. La la la. I found your hair tie in my car. I could only.
What's up, yo?
What's going on, man?
Everyone's like popping to the song.
Ooh, I'm getting a massive echo. Oh,
Jim.
and it's gone. There we go. Okay.
And it's gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boomer Council. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing? Got the homies in here. Ladaj, Hawkstar Win, Spidey 96, Chris Rocks Left Cheek. We're gonna get to you in just a minute, my brother. Just a minute.
Bold
You're gonna get
strategy.
the recognition you deserve. What's up, Laney? Lucky Tiger in here. Hello. And what's up, my boomers? How's everybody doing today?
Good, man.
Good, man.
We are down one. We are down Obsession. He's working today, so he's not going to be joining us. But we are going to be talking about something a little different today. We are going to be talking about some Star Wars news a little bit later. But everybody and their mother has been talking about the slap heard around the world.
Yep.
Everybody. There's human trafficking, child slavery, all kinds of stuff going on. But now we got to talk about one dude slapping another dude at the frickin' Academy Awards or whatever, the Oscars, whatever they're called.
He got in one little fight and Jada got scared.
Yeah, man.
You can't slap your wife because she got no hair. So, yeah, this guy slapped this guy at the Oscars. We're gonna watch it really quick, and then we're gonna do a live react here on the Boomer Council. We're gonna talk about what happened. Oh yeah, I gotta do that YouTube stuff. All right, let's watch. And it's hard to get the unedited version, so we're gonna have just a little bit of Japanese in here.
どうなんでしょうか。
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
ウィル・スミスにやられました。
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
keep my wife's
G.I. ジェーンの
name
ジョークだ
out
ったん
your
です。
fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? I could, okay.
Oof. I feel like I got
That
yelled
was
at.
greatest.
Awkward.
A little bit.
You know, when Will's dropping F-bombs, man, they land.
Dude, you know what's funny is like the Japanese breaks it up perfectly. It's like G.I. Joe the masquerade.
Yeah, G.I. Jane.
Like, oh no. So, bro, this one's rough for me. Okay, this is rough for me. I'm gonna tell you why. So for me, man, like I just feel like Will Smith acted like a complete freaking baby. Okay. Acted like a baby. Now, I understand that he's trying to defend his wife and all that different stuff. But you got to realize, you're on a world stage, bro. Like, I mean, I know not that many people were watching the Oscars. Maybe like they had like 34 people in the live chat. And then as soon as
There's
that
more
hit,
people watching that clip than watch the actual Oscars.
oh, 1,000%. Absolutely. And this dude just like, you know, it's one of those things that you ever heard of for thee, not for me? The old rule, for thee, not for me. When it comes to the nobles, they're like, it's for thee, not for me. You know what I mean? If I rushed the stage to go slap Chris Rock in the face, I would have been tased and probably shot before I even got there. So I understand, you know, hey, look, we got Will Smith walking up there. Oh, he's probably going to do something fun. Wham! Just fucking slaps the guy in the face. Probably escort him off the property, right? Dude just assaulted a guy on national TV in the Oscars, and they just, not only do they let him stay, they ask him to leave, and he's like, nah. And then they give him an Oscar, and they let him sit and talk for like freaking 30 minutes, crying in the camera about how God has sent him to this earth to protect the people. Like, bro, you got Thanos complex, my guy.
The plot thickens.
Oh,
Rissman, the article that you shared.
Well, yeah, I mean, X-Men
Minutes
kind
ago.
of alluded to it, right? I mean, they asked him to leave, And he said, "Nah, I don't think so." Right. And I have to believe part of the reason why he said, "Nah, I don't think so," is in the back of his mind. He said, I could still win an Oscar. Right. And of course he did win an Oscar. And so there's so much about this story that's just wrong to me personally. Right. Number one, at the root of all this is no one's allowed to be funny anymore, especially not comedians.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Because the comedians that still try and be funny under any circumstance today, it's not appreciated anymore. Right. And Chris Rock didn't make that joke maliciously. He didn't think in his mind, she can't grow hair right now, I'm going to give it to her. Right. You know, he made a joke, which arguably was a funny joke. Right.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. I mean, not only did we think it was funny, Will Smith thought it was funny until he looked around and realized not everybody there thought it was funny. And then he reacted.
Only Jada thought it wasn't funny, dude. I mean, if you go back and you look at the clip, Will Smith is laughing. He's and then you see Jada go, ugh. And that, dude, look, I'm not going to get involved with anybody's marriage, okay? That's not my MO. But you can clearly tell the dude was completely fine with it until he thought he would, right? And I think that's indicative of what's going on between those two. Like I said, you know, it's not my business or whatever. But, bro, there's some emotional stuff going on with them that, like, there's a reason he did that.
Well, from what I understand, there is a bit of a history between, you know, Will Smith's family and Chris Rock and jokes going on and everything. To be honest, from my point of view, I didn't even know anything about her condition or even that her head was shaved at that moment until this happened.
She decided to shave it.
But it was, you know, it was like, okay, I didn't know that anything was going on. For all I knew, it could have been for a role that she was doing or whatever might have been coming up. But I had no idea because I don't really pay attention to that. You know, I am a fan of Will Smith. I'm a fan of Chris Rock. I think it's unfortunate on both sides that this even happened at all. But the biggest takeaway from it is that the way Will Smith handled it was wrong, no matter which side of the fence you're on this. There was a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And
they shouldn't have contacted his publicist to relay the message to Will Smith to say they want you to leave. Two MFers should have shown up and said, we're escorting you.
Time to go.
Out of here.
Yeah. You've had a little too much to drink tonight, buddy. Time to leave.
Right. And nobody, and then in that same article that Scott is referring to, right, you know, the Academy was like, well, the Academy acknowledges maybe we didn't handle it in the right way. You think?
Yeah.
I mean,
they had no idea that would have happened. When he was walking up, everyone had the same thought in their head. Oh, something really funny is about
this is gonna be great, guys.
He's just joshing him. Yep.
Yeah, they were like, this is about to be gold. We're gonna have the clips. This was not the clip they wanted, but they got clips.
Somebody's comment about Jim Carrey saying that it was like the death of comedy and stuff like that. And it's like, I get that the joke was funny, but at the same time, like, it wasn't that. Like, I didn't laugh the first time at the joke. I understand it's a G.I. Jane thing, but like, was G.I. Jane a funny movie? Like,
no, that was the Demi Moore film from the 90s.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you making a joke about a movie that was not funny at all as far as a movie
the whole
goes?
Joke was Demi Moore shaved her head, and now
for sure. And like, I don't think it's uncommon for African American women to have a bald head. It was a weird joke to me, honestly. Like, now that I think about the situation and I'm looking at the whole thing, like, X-Wing pointed out that there's history there between the family, and like his son has been targeted by many comedians. I just think that the joke was weird to begin with. And
I'm on way the other side of the fence, bro. Like, it's a fucking joke. And like to get up on the world stage and smack somebody like White Knight
don't
hard
do that.
For somebody who chose to shave their head. Now, I don't know if you've seen, I put one thing out on Twitter, but like, dude, she chose to shave her head. Now, I understand, like, there is a bald patch. It's about that big by about that wide on the front, and she was losing hair for sure. But she chose to shave her head, and he made a joke about shaving heads, and a dude got up and physically smacked him in the fucking face on national
don't agree with that.
television. Like, you're a child, bro. You're either a child or you've been so twisted by your wife and so misaligned and so mistreated by your wife that you feel like you have to do shit like that. You fucked up, homie.
I think
And
it's
now he's gonna be
irresponsible
paying for
for
that shit.
I think it's irresponsible for both of the Smiths to even be there because clearly they're going through some shit. Maybe phone this one in next time. These like the vote didn't happen that night. They know who's going to get the awards and stuff. It's in the envelope. So people phone this stuff in all the time. Well, maybe you sit this one out.
Yeah, there was there was definitely something behind all of this. Was a boiling point.
Well, yeah, for him.
Whatever was going on, and it
Yeah,
just
100%.
the way this happened
Should
and
not
the way
have
it
been
hit him, that took. See, what I wanted to find out, I didn't see anything about it, but is like you guys pointed out, like Will Smith himself was laughing, he was even applauding a little bit at the joke. The camera cuts away, goes right back to Chris Rock.
Yeah,
I want to know if there was footage still looking that way, because
there is. There's a little bit. Yeah, like Will Smith is laughing and Jada's like
changed at that moment. When did the switch flip for Will Smith? Because
as
he
soon
was
as Jada looks at Will Smith and is like, "You're gonna let him say that about me?"
Yeah.
And then his twisted little mind that he's been freaking screwed into over this literally freaking abusive relationship. He's like, "Oh, well, now I got to do something."
So let me ask you guys this, because I'm curious. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm still gonna, as long as it's still there. So this event happens, right? Will Smith has a whole new documentary series on Disney Plus. Now, being that it's with Disney, a company that always flexes whatever political side of anything, or we're against this and we're for this and all that.
Well, God only knows what they do, because they supported one side and then they came out on social media. They're like, "We didn't actually mean it. I mean, we gave the money, but we didn't really mean it."
I'm curious though, what happens to his show? Does Disney drop it?
Hell no. Oh, he's heralded as a hero by Disney.
I don't think
Are you
it's a
kidding
hell
me?
no. I don't know, man.
I honestly think we don't know yet, right? It's completely possible they kick him out of the academy. I have no idea what that means, right? But it's completely possible that more things happen to Will Smith as a result of this that make him very undesirable for many different reasons. And then maybe the series does get killed. I mean, if it's a Disney Plus series, I don't think anyone's subscribing to Disney Plus to watch whatever this Will Smith series is.
Are you talking about moving forward or what's already there?
No, I'm talking. It came out not that long ago. I think.
Oh, it's out already. See, I don't even know what it is.
Oh, actually, I thought it
It's
was out
out.
already.
It's
Maybe
out.
it is out, right? It's
You're
on
talking about the one where he explores the Earth and he goes down in the submarine and all that different stuff. Yeah, nothing happens to that series. No way.
Because
if it's already out. It's
like
out.
Matt was saying, like there's going to be things that potentially happen with him and his career going forward after this, which is so unfortunate too. I'm not going to be someone who's like, oh, now I don't watch Will Smith movies. I'm going to watch everything he makes because I'm a fan. He's entertaining, and I think the stuff he makes is good.
They're making a sequel to I Am Legend, aren't they? Didn't I see there's a sequel to I Am Legend that's supposed to be in the works?
I think he's a bitch.
Yeah.
I think he takes a step back and does more producing.
I think he needs to take a step back and do some therapy and get away from Jada Pinkett Smith. That's what I think.
I disagree with the Stanley's comment wholeheartedly, right? Chris Rock had a Boston gig today.
100%. Yeah.
They were standing ovation. He couldn't start his act. They were cheering him. They were shouting things against. Well, he's got. If anyone comes out great on this whole thing,
it's Chris Rock.
It's Chris Rock, because not only did he, whatever you think of the slap, Chris Rock just kept going.
Bro, but also had a
literally
dig.
rolling with the punches.
He also had a dig. Yeah, he's like, that was the greatest night on television. Like a perfect Chris Rock moment, bro.
I
like,
mean, and he's just
going.
If
I loved it.
Proved to be a consummate professional through this whole thing. Like him or hate him, Chris Rock's been around a long time. Maybe he's your cup of tea. Maybe you're not. Maybe he's not. Mileage will vary on all these kinds of things.
I love Chris Rock.
But he just kept the show going, literally.
He did that shit for all of the other comedians out there that have ever been heckled. He was like, nah, man. No.
What was that old school line from Chris Rock? That it was like something like, "Don't get all upset because somebody smudged your Puma." What was it?
I don't know that one.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh,
But
come
yeah,
on. Am
sounds
I
about
the
right.
old man here now?
Yeah, you're the old man.
He had an album
I-
that came out, No
Yeah,
Sex in the
I
Champagne
know what you're
Room,
referring to.
the Bigger and Blacker
Mm.
special. Thank you, Matt.
You got me, bro.
Nope.
No idea.
But I mean, I've heard some other comedians comment, Bill Maher and some other folks commenting on the whole thing, and every one of them has said the same thing about Chris Rock specifically, which is he did
Keep the
what
show
was
rolling,
necessary.
bro. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you could tell too, like right after that, he's quiet for a minute. You can see the cogs in his brain just going like, "Shit, how do I save this?"
Mhm.
Did
What do I gotta
someone
do to
say
save this?
something again? Did someone say get over it? Because it sounded like he muttered something along the lines like, "Oh, I'll get," and he was gonna say like get over it or something right
I don't know.
before. It was weird though. Like
He
he
kinda
almost
mumbled.
he almost went there. I think.
I read an
He pulled it
article
back.
just before we came on. I read an article recapping him coming on stage to his Boston gig, right? And he started his set with, "So, how was y'all's weekend?" Right?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Listen," he said, if you're expecting me to talk about what happened," he said, I'm still processing it. He said, "And plus, I've had this show written forever. I've been so
Yeah.
looking forward to coming
Mm.
back on the road, talking to y'all, having a great time. Let's just get to the show." And that was all he said. And someone else heckled, Chris, Will Smith sucks or whatever. He just launched right into his act like a professional.
And that's what you should do, man. And so, like, just again, like, I love Chris Rock for this more than anything, bro. The fact that he didn't overreact, he didn't do any stupid shit. Like, just keep the show rolling.
Yeah.
Good on you. I'm super freaking proud of you for that. Darth Wizzy Wizard says, imagine Chris really started making jokes on him afterwards. My favorite one, and I wish he would have said this, is right after he got slapped. And Will Smith walks off the stage. He says, "Man, I'm going to be feeling that till August." That would have been amazing because Jada was banging the rapper August.
Oh man.
Yeah, that would have made me real happy. I
You
would
know what?
have, dude.
It
Just
probably
dropped
crossed
it,
his mind.
walked away.
Oh, I guarantee it did.
Oh
Yeah.
There's
man.
plenty of comedians who would have kept going.
Bill Burr
Chris
wouldn't have
Rock
stopped.
was insanely professional
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all of that.
Well, imagine if Ricky Gervais was there, right? I mean, there's so many other
Right.
places. But again, in his mind, I'm sure he was thinking,
Oh.
diffuse the situation. Let's move on.
Only because it's the Oscars,
Took
though.
that hit like a
Yeah, let me
champ.
get to my presentation.
Someone said earlier about the Oscars that like that was the point and it was a roast of him as well. Like, do they do that for Best Actor? Does everybody
No.
comment about them and stuff?
No, that's
Yeah.
Comedy Central.
I don't watch the Oscars, so I don't know. I'm just
Usually the opening monologue,
The host or whatever.
can roast the audience,
Oh.
right? Just simply, look who's here and so on.
because
and
that's
so on.
when Gervais shredded them, right? Was it the Oscars?
yeah.
Right,
I
and-
can't
but-
remember.
No,
That
it was the
epic,
Golden
dude.
Globes.
That shit was epic, man.
Ricky Gervais just laid into
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
And
it was
you know
great.
what? I mirrored exactly what he said. It was like, bro, take your award, do your drugs or whatever, and then get the fuck out. Like, just go. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? And it almost compounded how fucking weird the whole situation was that he was crying and telling him about God's plan and how he was sent to save these people and all this different stuff. It just compounded the weirdness for me, dude. And that's why I thought it was 100%. The morning after, I'm like, bro, this is fake. It's 1,000% fake. People aren't watching the Oscars. They made this shit up. And then when I heard Chris Rock wasn't like pressing charges or doing anything, I'm like, well, Chris probably wouldn't, but this seems fake as hell.
You know, it was the Kanye moment. No offense, Kanye, but it was like Kanye interrupting Taylor Swift. Like,
Oh my
I feel like
God.
I
That's-
feel
I
like it's
remember
gonna
that.
affect his career a lot.
Oh, he's
I don't-
fucked right now.
I don't think it was fake.
I don't think he's
right?
untouchable.
I don't think
It wasn't fake.
I don't think they could have put all that together if they tried.
It would be
Yeah,
at the expense of
That's
Jada,
what you
which is so
commented.
foolish.
You're giving them a hell of a lot of credit if you think.
I know.
they
I'm like,
Yeah.
this
did
shit
an
is
award
so
show that would-
fake.
Yeah.
No, that was not. You could see Will Smith was in that moment of where you get so angry you're trembling. He
Yeah.
was trying not to burst into tears, like at that point, and then he's dropping
He's a
the. You can
bitch.
see it. That was if that was fake.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been
Will
there.
Smith is the greatest actor on the planet.
Now, I agree with T. Davidson's comment, right? If Will Smith was acting anywhere, it was when you turned on the waterworks,
Oh, for
trying to parallel
Yeah,
the,
that was
the
acting.
character he was acting as, with the situation, and all of that was a grade A performance, right?
And this is the other thing too. You got to imagine, like, bro, how damaging is this shit? You're in a room with 1,000 people, and everybody's quiet, and you're
Dude,
screaming
1,000
at
of
the
your best friends, like,
and you're
these people
screaming at
know
the
each
top of
other.
your lungs, "My fucking man!" Like, shut the fuck up. We're all watching a movie. Shut up. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about this before the slap happened, and then the
Fucking
slap like
entitled.
cemented this thought, and it's sad. I just think I was like, did I just reach an age where no matter what, all of my childhood heroes are either A, dying, or B, becoming assholes? It's
You either
one or
live-
the other.
You
And I'm
either
like,
die a
who's
hero or
next?
live long enough to see yourself
I-
become
I-
a villain.
I-
Welcome
have-
to life, Matt Cave.
I have to offer, but Matt, I have to offer. I think it's more. They've always been assholes, and the difference is, especially when I
The
was
veil
younger,
has been lifted.
we never could see any of it because our only real interaction with movie stars was either on the movie screen or in very scripted, either written articles.
You watched the critical video today, didn't you?
No, I lived
No?
it. No, I've lived it. Right,
Okay.
where there was either written articles or 60 Minutes type interviews, right, where there was no
Shut your fucking mouth, Jesus Ponce. You hear me? You get the fuck off my channel. You get the fuck out of here. You hear me?
I love it.
I'm sick of your shit. It's my coworker.
So this
Oh,
is
I was like, who's this?
this is where we're at, right? When we start to realize these stars are real people with baggage and things that we just don't want to know about, that gets dragged out now at every opportunity.
A lot of them are trash people too. That's the thing, is that they're super vapid, self-absorbed, uneducated assholes. A lot of them are.
They make the
And
best actors.
That's just the God's honest truth. And the problem is, when you lift the veil, when you have something like social media, when you have Twitter, when you have all these different ways that they can finally sit on a couch and engage with their thousands upon thousands of adoring fans who hang on their every word, you get this God complex. And that's exactly what we're dealing with, is this freaking God complex. And now in this new age, since the veil's been lifted, we're starting to see these people for who they are. And it's like, bro, you're a piece of shit.
Except for Nick Cage. He always plays Nick Cage in every movie. I feel like it's just Nick Cage all the time.
He's just
Nick
not
Cage.
a-
always
he's just not a-
Cage.
But
What
he's
is
just
that
not a
movie
good
that's
actor,
coming out?
right? So there's a difference there.
Right.
Yeah, so you can't fake it.
Dude, what is that movie coming out with Nick Cage that's all about
He's
being
playing,
Nick
that's
Cage?
what I was saying. Yeah,
Yeah, I forget the name
Sorry, I
of it,
was
but you
being a
know what?
little-
Oddly enough, I saw a preview for it, and I'm like, I'll go watch that.
I'm gonna watch the shit out of that. I'm
Listen,
going to
if The
watch
Rock
that.
can
It's him and Pedro. It's him and Pedro Pascal.
if The Rock can keep getting away with playing The Rock, like, come on. More
Yeah,
people
that's
gotta catch on to this.
That's
Just
the-
be yourself, man.
That's it. Like, I watch Nicolas Cage movies to watch Nicolas Cage. Like,
You know
I
what
don't
you're
care
getting,
what-
right?
dude. He's
Yes.
so. Here's the thing. Like, Nicolas Cage by the way, he puts out a movie like every month. I don't know if people know this. It's been happening for years. There are like thousands of Nicolas Cage movies that people don't know about.
Oh my God,
And-
there's so many.
Dude, but they're brilliant. They're like the most brilliant B movies, and they're so much fun. And it's because it's Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, and that's awesome. But then you get the flip side of that same coin, where you get actors who just phone it in for the paycheck. Like, if you go and watch right now, Bruce Willis is just making movie after movie after movie right now. They're shit. Like, they're
Oh,
garbage. And it's
Ooh.
Bruce Willis is just like phoning it in. Sometimes I swear he just has the script on the table in front of him and he's reading it as they film it.
But he's
whatever.
not.
It's another $1 million. I don't give
No
a
more-
shit.
No, we can't. No more Bruce
Dude,
Willis.
actually, I gotta stop you because just recently it came out that Bruce Willis is going through some
I need another beer.
he's going through some mental issues right now, and he's walking away from acting.
Yeah, he's been diagnosed with aphasia. That's
what it
come
was.
out that he's been diagnosed with aphasia.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe that was early signs of some weird shit going on with him. But like,
I don't know, but
and not for nothing, like these people live hard lives, man. There's
they
drugs,
deal with the level
alcohol,
of stress that we'll never be able to imagine.
Exactly. The pressure of just the peer pressure of stuff. Like, seriously, think about it. Will Smith knew all the people in that room very well. They all know his children. Half of them have probably babysat their kids together. They all have the same nannies and shit. It's like he lost it, dude. He completely. I do not think either of them should have been there, given everything they're going through, man. Crazy.
I agree with you though, Matt. I think there's some things about the mystery of the movies and the process, and especially the way in which the actors and actresses act when they're not on the screen, right? That it's ugly when the curtain gets pulled back, and we don't like to see it. And unfortunately, in some cases, it influences our ability to watch them act in other movies, because the two things bleed together in a way that's just human nature for us to conflate, right? Yeah. And then it's kind of like, it's ruining the work product because of these other things that I would just prefer not to know.
That's why it's so sad, because it does bleed into the movie-going experience, because we are, as an audience, taking that baggage with us, whether we want to or not. If you heard about it and you see it and all over the news and social media and everything, it's kind of just stuck in your head when you go see this movie. And that's the most unfortunate thing. I wish like just social media stuff would just, it doesn't have to vanish, but it has to like be limited. Like there can't be
there's no chill.
More coffee.
Vanishing would be fine with me, to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I started a Twitter myself, and I barely use it. I'm like, whatever. I tried, but it's like celebrities and directors and producers, they shouldn't be on that.
Anybody who has any influence on popular culture should not have a fucking Twitter. Okay. So like the big one for me, because I never had Twitter. I think I started my Twitter after Trump was out of office. For me, it was like, the president is on social media. Like, I don't know if that's a good call, guys. Yeah. Like, maybe we shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? He goes to a nice dinner. He has like 6 or 7 whiskeys with the prime minister of Albania or whatever happens. And he's like, you know what? Fuck Russia. And World War III starts. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they shouldn't have Twitters. Like me, sure, whatever. A journalist, great, have a Twitter. But like people who influence thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people's lives, because let's be honest, in modern day America, all you have to do is be popular and say this is bad, and everybody's like, yep, 100%. Maybe they don't need it.
No, they don't. I remember, outside of seeing the actors or directors or anything in a movie itself or the behind the scenes of the movie, the only time I'd see them outside of that is like on Entertainment Tonight or something like that. Like, it was just like, oh, cool, an interview with whoever. This is fun for a half hour. And then that's it. That's my whole experience with this celebrity and what they do for a living.
Hollywood Squares, right? Put him back on Hollywood Squares and take him away again.
That's great.
Get Gilbert Gottfried in there every time to say some crazy stuff, and we're good.
I don't need to know how you feel about anything. Socio-political issues, geopolitical, freaking foreign policy in the United States. I don't give a shit. And there was who put it out? Oh God, Critical Drinker put it out in his video today. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell said it best. He was like, and I wish I could remember the perfect quote, but it was basically that, like, people don't care. I'm a court jester. And that's what I do. I'm a court jester. And like, that's what actors are. You are here to entertain us. I don't really give a shit about what you think about anything else if you play a really good King Arthur. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's it.
Obsession makes a good point too. Like, and I was just saying it while you were away for a moment, X-Wing. I was saying, you know, the celebrities deal with a level of stress that we'll never be able to imagine.
They
But this
also
is
get
one-
more money than we could ever
Well,
imagine.
That's true, which also comes with
with
that comes with stress and pressure as well. But imagine you're being followed all the time, like literally followed by a physical being that is like snapping pictures and getting all up in your face no matter what you're doing. Like that's
Yeah.
enough to drive anyone crazy.
Well, I would just do what I always do. I never leave the house.
Well, okay, there's that.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it. The world is horrible. Like I'm chilling. I have everything I need in this little bitty room.
That sounds a little creepy.
He's just shaking, staring at the walls.
I got a makeup video.
Everything's fine.
Where he's like, Jim Carrey, I'm Batman.
Speaking of which, Jim Carrey had some stuff to say about
Yeah.
this, which I
Yeah.
thought was super interesting. I had it pulled up because, like, I grew up on Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey was my humor when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
effing love Jim Carrey. Always have. And I was shocked to hear him, what I would consider the most lucid I've heard this guy since I don't know when. Talking
Jim
about
Carrey
this.
is a very, very, he's a painter and he's a very
He's an
bright
extremely
person.
intelligent human being.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yep.
which if you are an intelligent person, it can drive you nuts.
When was
It can
this?
make
Is
you
he
insane.
I
This?
didn't see this.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'll play it for you right now.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he
should have
wanted
been.
to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said, no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things, but that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun. And to get their award for the really hard work they did, and it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do, and it was just a selfish moment to cast a pall over the.
He doesn't even look like Jim Carrey there, right? We have
I
we have like Sonic 2. I'm looking for him in the mustache and the funny faces and the mask. That man didn't look. This is a perfect example of what we were just talking about, right? When you take the actor out and put them in a real situation, it doesn't even look like the same person.
Here we go. I want everybody on this panel, everyone in the chat, I want to take yourself back to 1994. And you're going to go visit your 1994 self, and you're going to say, hey, in 2022, the white guy from In Living Color is going to teach the world how to be a good human being.
Does anyone even know what you're talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Emotional damage.
Rough.
I applaud that. That's the first time I saw that. That's incredible.
Dude, that was well put.
Yeah.
Really well put.
Yeah.
And that's why I titled this kind of the death of comedy, because a guy said something and a dude walked up and slapped him in the face. The death of comedy. Yeah. You literally can't stand on a stage and make jokes without people coming and trying to to hurt you physically.
Yeah.
And this isn't just Chris Rock. This is a lot of comics. There is it is an open season on comics right now to hunt them down because they don't agree with the message, or they're saying something that goes against the message. And it's like, if we can't do that, what do you want to make jokes about? Honestly.
Right.
I went to the store today and the celery was super bad. I really appreciate everybody that works in the fields bringing the celery. I just want to let that be heard before I make this joke. Like, it's fucking retarded, you know? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Somebody's going to try to stab me as I walk back to my bedroom.
You are already
It's just
canceled
fucking
by now.
annoying.
But you're not wrong. This is what the world has become. The world has become just a bunch of whiner babies. Here's the problem. The world changed when somehow just a small population of the world started to yell louder than the rest.
Yeah.
And the larger population of the world said, all right, let's just try to shut them up and listen to what they're saying. And then we never let go. Like, it just kept going.
We've given them the platform to do so, right? So
Yeah.
this is why I said I'm perfectly okay without social media, right? Because on the example you just gave, the reason why it seems so pervasive is that smaller group of loud spoken folks are very active on social media and are very good at pushing that out in a way that becomes very overwhelming. And the larger majority is just like, fuck this. I'm not going to deal with this. I don't have time for this. I have other things to do.
And that's the thing. We're working. I don't have time to do that shit. We're working. I got a job. You know what I mean?
There's this thing too called peer attunement, and it's like an issue with kids in social media, and how like having open reign to social media, you can reach out to the platforms for your like source of like happiness, basically. And what happens is kids find the happiness more there than they do from their own parents, and they attune to the morals, to the views of everybody else online that they, that values their opinions.
Validation, bro.
Exactly. And
they're searching validation.
Slippery slope. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's just insanity. And to clarify, when I say a small group, I mean out of all the population, all the whiner babies of whatever you're whining about, it doesn't even matter. You're part of this smaller population that just happens to be yelling louder than the rest.
Yeah, and I'm not epitomizing them to one side or the other. I'm on the same page as Matt Cave, which is the ones that are vocal are generally vocal in a way that comes across ultimately as negative. Whether it's on one side or the other, it becomes overwhelmingly tiresome, right? And this is why, for me, Twitter was a necessity only because there's certain things you can only find out about on Twitter. Right? Who's doing what, and when does this happen, and how does it all go? Right? It's not that I enjoy interacting. That's why I never tweet anything. Right? It's a tool to find out what's happening and where I need to be and what should I try and look after. Right? A lot of people don't see it that way. Right? A lot of people are very interactive in unhealthy ways on Twitter, very specifically.
Yeah. On Twitter? Come on. I wanted to give a shout out real quick to Shapeshifter VA in the chat, my brother. Welcome. Good to see you here again. I did want to talk about this really quick. It's not just one group. Let's be honest. You're right. It's not just one group. It's never been just one group. But the problem is that there is one side that consistently has the backing of everyone on Twitter. And if you have any other opinions, then you're the bad guy. If that makes sense. You only get one right answer. And something that you said today in a chat that we were having in the Boomer group was, it's very hard to be seen as a good person in the eyes of social justice. Which just hit me like a freaking truck full of dildos, man. It's so true. Even if you're a really good person, it's very hard to be seen as a good person in the eyes of social justice because of everything that's going on. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter. You say one thing that doesn't fit, and they will dogpile the shit out of you. And it's really frustrating because there are very good people with very good intentions, very loving people that exist in this space that are going to get dogpiled. They're going to get literally run over by the mob, because it is a mob, regardless of how you feel, regardless of who you are as a person. And it's infuriating for me because I love good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's when you see people trying to do true positive things and make things better, they're getting trampled over by all the negativity that's coming through. All the negativity that's wearing a cloak supposed to disguise them as being the positivity, but they're not. Like you pull back the cloak and there's the wolf and that's it. This is just it's just a mess. It's a mess. When I first used Facebook, I would go on it. I was like, this is a great way to find hilarious fart jokes.
Right.
This is awesome. And then all of a sudden,
Star Wars
it was nothing
memes.
but politics. And I was like, I'm done with this. And I just left. When I started opening Facebook and I'm seeing, for example, Trump's face on it every single day. Look, I don't follow politics in any way, shape, or form. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep reading about him. So I'm like, let me just turn this off. And then I ignore it.
Yeah.
And you know what's the saying? Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Yeah, it truly is. If you ignore this crap, it's not part of your life.
It's so true, because I was just on a live stream with 80 Edits, Zach, everybody over at the Evil Ewoks group, because they had a spot open. I was sitting there and I was listening to this great gal. She's down in SoCal, Jedi Bunny, and she just like let go of everything. Let go of social media, got off YouTube. She's like, I need a minute to figure out what the hell is going on with my channel, what I want to do. And we were talking about stuff, and she's like, what? Was that a thing? What do you mean? And I'm like, she's been happy for the past 4 weeks, not thinking about any of the stuff that's been going on. Ignorance is bliss, truly.
You see me when I chime in the boomer chat, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm always the last one to the party.
Got no idea. You know?
Yeah, and especially on social media, it's like anytime someone feels like they're losing an argument, they always go, well, what about this other thing that you are tolerant of?
The what
so it's like
abouts.
anytime you speak out about something that you're intolerant of, people will about the other things that you are tolerant of. Yeah, my connection is doing things. But yeah, everyone is just so quick to like deflect. Like we can't just have conversations about this stuff.
The what about?
It's so...
Well, I think again that just the way social media is set up, right? It's set up in such a way in an effort to facilitate dialogue. They've set it up in a way to not facilitate dialogue, right? The anonymity behind it and the ability to be the keyboard warrior and to say things that you would never ever say in person in an in-person conversation.
Keyboard warrior.
You know what I mean? So it's like we've, in true usual fashion, right? We've done it to ourselves, and now it's become so ingrained, right, wrong, or indifferent, so ingrained in daily life that some people just can't separate from it, right? And that's why it's dangerous.
Dude, and once Web 2.0 or whatever gets here, and we have all these metaverses,
the metaverse,
and kids are literally living behind an avatar now and not even showing their faces. Like we think wearing the masks in school is bad and not being able to communicate properly with each other. Wait till we're all robots and shit.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of missed the. I didn't have to wear a mask. I had like a little bandana.
Yeah,
I pulled up across my face.
I did the same thing. Yep.
I thought you were saying, I'm not going to lie, I was looking forward to becoming a robot.
I just when stupid people were saying stupid shit to me, I didn't have to smile.
Dude, so I
was
worked
really nice.
I used to work selling. I used to sell phones, and so we didn't have to wear a tie, but we had to have the blazer. So I have a blazer with the open button down, dress shoes and socks, and the bandana. I looked like a character out of GTA. when you were broke and had no money,
come to my trunk. I've got
just buy one suit at the beginning. Total NPC shit.
That's great.
It was great. I loved it.
Jesus.
yeah.
Well,
Old days.
yeah, the good old days. Well, that's where we are.
Young.
There's traffic back on the road. Pandemic's over, I guess. Ukraine invaded Russia, but we're talking about, Will Smith.
Yeah.
I noticed gas came down a little bit today.
I didn't. Cost me $120 to fill up my work van this morning.
We just don't leave anymore.
Awesome.
We just don't go anywhere.
Darth Arlena. Is that Grand Moff Rissman? The Boomer Council is even more handsome than usual tonight. Love you guys. Nashville now. Take care of those younglings. Darth Arlena, you are the one person who constantly comes in here and supports this stream, supports these creators. I absolutely love you for that, my darling. I cannot wait until I'm in Nashville and I can buy you a drink. I love you, sweetie. Let's do the other one. Where's the other one? There it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
She wanted the younglings gone. I'm sorry, I forgot. No, she likes the younglings. I recently moved everything.
Thank you.
There it is. Thank you, Arlena. I appreciate you.
I was saying we should start a kill count. She's pretty up there.
That'd be a great idea.
She's pretty up there.
Make it like end of 2022. We have to kill like 100 younglings. I like that.
Oh my!
That's fun.
Oh wow! That's
I used to flick my tongue at hot chicks when I wore my mask in public.
Yo.
That's great.
What the fuck?
What?
He just totally exposed himself. I love it.
What?
Seriously.
What is?
what?
What?
Weird flex, but okay. For sure.
Classic.
All right. Well,
Matt's losing it.
Max, I love you. Love you, Maximus. That was fucking weird, but I love it. Super fucking weird.
Going back to the things we share behind the name we would probably never share otherwise.
This is like Johnny from Cobra Kai. No big deal. Badass.
Very, very interesting. He's a Cobra Kai.
You know what? That's actually. Then you have a show like Cobra Kai, who's like, screw all that crap. We're gonna make fun of it.
And thank God for we finally got a show that didn't give a fuck, right? For the love of God, we got Cobra Kai, and it was like, oh my God, a show! Holy cow, we got a show.
Well, they could have made Johnny politically correct, but they decided it's not his character, so he can say, "What does it look like? I pee sitting down." You know, he can pull out all these lines. It's perfectly okay.
And then he like freaking Googled all the perfect responses to every social issue and just hit that girl with a perfect like rehearsed speech and then walked away and was like,
So
we got
good.
her.
That's so
You know
good.
what it is?
Yeah, it was good.
He's just talking like a dude from the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
literally it. He's not
Yep.
doing anything special.
No.
Back when all these comedians got their start, I remember Chris Rock at Saturday Night Live. I mean, give me a break.
It's totally a thing, you know? And oh my God, if my dad sees this, he's gonna fucking kill me. But my dad was big into martial arts when he was younger. And I remember there was one time we were driving down the road, man. And he's like looking at a girl and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to dive into that for a burger." And I'm like,
There you go, man. Kicks get chick.
Dad, what the hell? You know what I mean?
That was the day I became a man.
And now is the day I became a man.
I
You know,
drove
it's
around
just-
with my dad in his truck, and there was a big sticker on the window that said "Ass, gas, or grass. No one rides for free."
You gotta pick one. You know what I mean? And we're living in an age where you get a drive-by for something like that. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus criminy. We've lost all sense of anything. I don't know. Interesting article came out.
Woo!
Disney Plus announces new show about Luke's hand that got cut off. First impressions.
I'd watch it.
Yep.
Okay. A show about the hand.
More
God
homework,
help
baby.
us all.
But does it like talk like this where it's like
I'm upset because I think it's
Skywalker's
gonna
hand.
retcon some comics.
No,
It's
we're
gonna
gonna
retcon
go.
some
We're
of my
gonna go
favorite
through this
comics.
article. We're gonna go through this article, guys. We're gonna go through this. Okay. Los Angeles. Disney has announced details for a new Star Wars show on Disney Plus during a recent earnings call, tentatively titled Luke's Hand, which will tell the story of Luke's hand lost during the fight with Darth Vader at the climax of The Empire Strikes Back. After the completion of The Last Jedi, we were frankly terrified that we might run out of ideas for new Star Wars stories, said Maxwell Dorr, VP of Marketing for Disney. We were also worried about leaving any loose threads dangling at the end of the Skywalker saga. Luke's Hand, show title, feels like the final missing piece of the original arc of the series, which will give us a chance to finally answer all of the burning questions fans have had about Luke's missing appendage since 1980. How are we feeling?
Warm and fuzzy inside.
Feeling good? Okay. All right. The show will pick up with Luke's severed hand where fans last saw it in The Empire Strikes Back, tumbling down into the sewers of Cloud City. A teaser trailer unveiled as a part of the announcement showed a glimpse of the hand finding its way across the galaxy to various other planets featured in previous Star Wars films. And I quote, "We're really excited that Mark Hamill agreed to return and do motion capture work for his actual right hand," said Charlie Ashby, Senior Creative Director for Industrial Light and Magic. "Thanks to the new advances in CGI, we've been able to actually de-age the hand to make it look like it did back in 1980. It's going to cost $25 million an episode, but it's extremely worth it." Upon hearing the news, fans online were divided between calling it the greatest thing Star Wars has done since the last thing and already calling it a failure. Star Wars continues to pander to the woke crowd with this revisionism. Luke's hand fell into a storm drain where it was left to rot. End of story, tweeted anti-Star Wars Twitter account Jar Jar Johnson. This will be another misguided failure, just like The Last Jedi. Hashtag not my Star Wars. At press time, a petition began circulating online demanding the resignation of J.J. Abrams from the project, even though he's not actually involved in the show whatsoever.
I like that last part especially.
What are you guys thinking? Are you guys stoked for Luke's hand show?
Was that it? Yeah, so I think it's cool. I think
okay.
It's live action.
Talk to me. Yeah, definitely gonna
So
be
it's
live.
gonna be okay.
sure.
So we're gonna get Shamook Luke.
Yeah, Shamook Luke. Okay.
And I mean, I think we're gonna get Vader too. I think we're gonna get Anakin.
Yeah,
Because
you're gonna get some
eventually the
Vader
hand
Anakin.
is on Exegol. Or not,
Okay.
maybe that's not Exegol, but Vader definitely has the
Do you
hand.
think the
it's in
hand
a
becomes
jar.
part of a dyad?
The ultimate handshake.
Right.
Well, no.
Okay.
No, I don't think there's any dyads there. No.
Only if they also have
Anakin and
hands
Grogu though,
somehow.
potentially.
Yeah.
But it's just like going to be like Thing from the Addams
Yes.
Family.
100%. Yep.
But so in comics, like the Ugnaught found the saber at one point. I don't know where that.
All right.
Or
Before
what
we
saber
go
that was.
any further, if it's not apparent to anybody in the chat, in the stream, this is satire.
Oh,
What?
sick.
This
And-
is not coming out?
That's like, duh.
Moving on.
And actually, I think what's happened, and Darth Arlena reminded me, right? You guys
Hilarious.
remember the website called the Babylon Bee existed for a long time, and they recently got shut down. Somebody took great offense to a story or something, and they closed it down. I believe this is them again with a different website now
1,000%. Yep.
because it's called Hard
Well,
Drive.
the stories are in the comics. Moving on.
So it was not the article that got me because at first I saw it and I'm like, you could totally make a series about the hand, right? It could tie into Queel. You could have this whole story. And so I bid on it and I clicked on it. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Luke's finally, we're going to get the Maz Kanata story that we never got. Right. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's check it out. And I started reading and I'm like, oh shit. What the fuck? And I get through the article and I go down to the comment section and I'm like, I guarantee we're going to see the worst of both sides at the bottom of this article. But I saw some gold in this article. Okay. I saw some gold comments here. Seems like things are getting out of hand, but on the other hand, it could just be an offhand comment.
These are Russian bots.
That was so good. It was so good. Okay, there is another one that there's another one. Did it get deleted?
Go back, the Vin Diesel one. What was that?
Vin Diesel thumb, Anadarmus index finger, middle finger, Michael Rooker, ring finger, Idris Elba, pinky, Charlie Day, Womp Rat, Mark Hamill.
The Womp Rat voice.
I am so upset. I actually came back to it and the comment is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, there's not as many comments as were there.
There was a comment that was there that was like, you need to rescind control of Lucasfilm. This is the stuff that Disney does that's going to destroy Star Wars. I'm like, did you even fucking read it, bro?
And you know, it's so funny, right? The other phenomenon that exists today prevalently is the TLDR phenomenon. I didn't even know what TLDR meant. I had
no idea what that is.
I still don't know what that means.
Didn't read. Too long.
Didn't read. Okay.
TLDR.
Gotcha.
Right. And the phenomenon is skip to the read the title, skip to the comments, comment on the comments, move on. Right. Or in these other cases, right, where people, like, a great example is all the Kenobi coverage that came out of the Entertainment Weekly article. Right. Nobody read. I think I'm the only one who read the Entertainment Weekly article. Everyone else read everyone else's bits and pieces of them reading and interpreting parts of the Entertainment Weekly article. Too long, didn't read. Right. And so I think there was a lot of that going on in this article, because if you just scanned it and didn't read it word for word like you did, you might come away from it thinking this is legitimate. Looking at the comments, people are commenting.
Bullshit. I'm sick of Disney's bullshit.
Dude,
let me join in. Let me leave a hateful anti-Disney. This leads to the sequels. And let me go on to the next one.
All these other people are pissed about it. I should be pissed about it too. And then it tumbleweeds.
I'm offended on your behalf.
Downhill. Yeah,
you're taking your water. I'm offended for you. You know, right? I mean, it's that same mentality.
Dude, when you first started reading it, I was like, all right, well, Falcon the Winter Soldier was Falcon the Winter Soldier was 15 million an episode, and
bro, that was me too.
They did his whole arm, so like that, just the hand, like
just oh god.
Oh man,
crazy though.
Shame.
They could actually make something worthwhile out of that.
Are you kidding me? I would love that. Dude, we're gonna find out where the saber went, whose hands it traveled through. 1,000%. That's what sucks. Is this could totally be a good show
from his hand being cut off.
And they need to do it in a way that actually canonizes it, not this comics nonsense that doesn't count, right? I mean, it needs to be in something live action.
No, it doesn't.
For it to matter.
Well, it does. Nothing else.
Comics aren't canon.
How? Tell me how that comic. You still can't tell me how.
Oh my god. This is happening.
Do it again. Do it again.
Comics aren't canon. They proved it time and time again.
That comic is.
I'll be right back.
I mean, until you tell me how and why that isn't.
Comics aren't canon.
You can't just say that. It doesn't make it true.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Just because you say with all due respect doesn't mean you can say whatever you want.
All kidding aside, Hawks, I think the predominant problem with comics as a phenomenon, right, and the reason why a lot of us deprioritize the stories that are told in comics is because they aren't widely discussed. I won't say they're not widely adopted. I won't say people don't read comics, because I know folks do.
Mm-hmm.
But the way in which the stories are told and in which things are sort of pumped out for mass appeal, it seems like Lucasfilm deprioritizes comics to some extent, with the exception, I'm sure, of the High Republic, right? Because I know there's a significant amount of that story, which is in their master plan, right, being told in the comics, right? This goes back to that thing that we've talked about in the past, which is because the live action stuff is focused on non-High Republic, it seems like the comics are more important for that part of the franchise than they are for some of the rest of the stuff, right? And the Hand and the Exegol and some of these other comics, right, that were designed to fill in some of these blanks leading up to the sequels.
I agree with everything that you're saying. I agree with everything that you're saying up to the point of exception. It's not an exception. It is a priority when it's needed, and it's deprioritized when it's not. It's not decanonized until it's put into film, into TV, even book. But an untold story that is in a comic written by Disney and Marvel is canon.
It's gotta be there.
Son of a bitch.
They always, you know, the thing too is like they always have been, but now because there's a divide, it's like people are literally trying to pick and choose what is and isn't, and you can't do that. Sorry.
Are you talking about like all my vintage Star Wars comics up there that are canon?
Yes, I mean, like the things they have determined that are not are legends. That is it. I'm sure there are still comics written that are canon. I'm sure there are, unless it was in a TV show like Rebels or Clone Wars. I'm sure Clone Wars has decanonized some comics, but the ones that tell the stories that are answering questions that people just don't like the answers to doesn't mean it's not canon.
I think this comment from the Stanleys, though, is a tough comment for me personally, right? I don't disagree with the comment, right? The issue is we've had recent examples of comics changing other comics, right, to then fit into things that were said in live action. And that kind of interplay between the different canon ways to tell canon, to me, it diminishes the importance of the comics. Right? I didn't know it was in the comic in the first place. Before I had a chance to figure that out, you changed it in another comic, and I heard about it already in live action, so why do I care?
Yeah.
Right?
And if this is true, then this shit is true about pre-Disney shit. It's not true now. That's why they're saying all that is legends. So, you know,
like I wish I would have read that Kylo Ren comic series that I recently did. I wish I read it years ago when the movie came out, when Last Jedi came out, because I would have felt a lot better about it at the time. Because that, and it's just a short set of, it was what, that was only 4 issues. It gave depth to Ben Solo, it gave meaning to Snoke, and it gave meaning to the Knights of Ren. And if I would have read that, having that knowledge in my head, and then seeing the movie, or maybe right after seeing the movie, I would have felt so much better and different about the film. But I don't know if that's, I would imagine that's considered canon. That's part of that series, right? That hasn't changed.
The rise of Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then these characters were featured in the Lego stuff, whatever. Like they're included as new characters. And I don't think we're far away from getting animated Luke Skywalker, Ben Solo stuff, or Shamook Luke. I think they'll go there if the money's there. Like if people keep gravitating towards the CGI and stuff like that, they're gonna keep doing it.
I would accept a CG Luke and Ben series or movie. I think that would be cool.
The plot thickens.
It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be.
That's what she said.
That's awful.
Yeah.
It's the same old story, right? They don't have a master planner for how all these stories and across the different materials and mediums fit together, right? So it feels very disconnected because it's quite disconnected. Right. And that's why I think you're always going to have a population, unless they change the way it all works together. You're always going to have a population that claims if it's not in live action, didn't happen.
You know what?
That's kind of how I feel after reading all the books and everything. Like it just kind of feels like if it didn't make it on screen, that's kind of the way Star Wars is headed. If it didn't happen on screen, basically not canon.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just think a good example of how you make it work was look back at the entire event that was Shadows of the Empire. That was a multimedia cross-platform event telling
Dark Horse
an entire
comics and
story.
video games and
And it all fits. There isn't a piece of any of that that contradicts anything else. Like it all works because it was planned.
And I feel like you contradict yourself if you accept books like Master and Apprentice and Dark Disciple, but you don't accept books like Aftermath or Phasma or etc. Like it's all goddamn canon. And if they do it in a movie or they do it in something they say is higher tier, that's how it's always worked, man.
Is Master and Apprentice canon?
I'm pretty sure they just wrote that book and they are stories of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. That shit is canon now.
Master and Apprentice is pretty old. There was a Claudia Gray that was pretty old, but they have Brothers that's coming out. I think Brothers is
the Brotherhood
supposed to be canon.
Yeah, the Brotherhood book that's coming is canon.
And you're allowed to have your head
Master
canon.
and Apprentice is Legends, so far as I know.
Well, like, and you're allowed to have your head canon. Like, I've watched many of people on YouTube who literally say they watch nothing outside of anything in the OG timeline. I don't, whatever. That's you. I'm not saying you can't, but you're missing out on Rebels for one.
Not canon. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, hey, bro, look at me. I'm like, hey, check this out. The courtship of Princess Leia, it's canon. And guess what? People are like, it's just a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Don't get mad.
No,
get glad.
It's just hard to talk about any comic that is canon, and people will always argue that it's not. But
if you play some Halcyon Star Cruiser comic shit on me, no, it's just not. It's just not. Halcyon
Are you gonna accept the retcons when it comes to live action? That's the real question.
The Halcyon retcons?
When it comes to live action and it contradicts the comics, are you gonna accept it?
If they try to make Padme and Anakin go on a fucking honeymoon somewhere in the middle of Revenge of the Sith, no.
And it's Shamook Padme and Shamook Anakin.
No.
Wow.
Just the whole Shamookin series.
Shit, I don't even know. Like,
what? What even the hell was that?
What the hell is even that?
I think it was a Kaminoan.
That was a Kaminoan. No, I can't.
Just to clarify, Ladaj is correct. I just looked it up. Master and Apprentice is canon.
Oh, it is.
2019.
Yeah.
God, it's that recent?
Yes.
Wow.
I thought it was older than that.
Yeah. 2019.
But that's a story like that didn't have to have any real crazy impact. That's about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, right? Oh my God.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a young Obi-Wan.
Does it touch on any of the?
Not the Obi-Wan you dealt with in that video game.
I was just gonna say, is that canon?
That was so
that
strange.
Obi-Wan was so. My God, that Obi-Wan was weird as hell.
I'm not sure.
I don't care about the Jedi Order. My name's Obi-Wan.
Matt,
God, that shit was weird.
Dude.
Yeah.
Let me just say to you guys, I had no idea that post-credits thing was coming in that game.
None
I
of
was
us
ending
did.
the stream, dude. I was ending the stream, and
Yup,
that
I
popped
was
up,
there.
and I hit live again.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't believe what was happening.
I had you in my ear because I was working at like Tesla or something like that. I was at some fucking spot working on a compressor, and like I'm just letting the music play in the background, and I just hear like, my name's Obi-Wan. I don't care about anything because I've got a lightsaber. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I was like, talk about an original troll, right? I was like, where did this even come from?
So to anybody in the chat who doesn't know what we're talking about, Matt Cave was playing through Obi-Wan, the original Xbox Obi-Wan game, and it was like halfway through the credit scene.
No, it was
just get this
the end of the credits, like the credits.
The end of the credits.
It was just black screen.
I was timing my outro basically to go with the end of the credits. I was like, perfect. And I ended. I'm on my end screen. And that starts happening. I'm like, what is going on? As quick as I could, I hit live again. And I just was beside myself. But I was told later on, and I was kicking myself for not getting this reference, but I haven't seen it in years. It was actually an homage to Train Spotting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But in this terrible, the worst Obi-Wan voice you've ever heard in your life.
I didn't catch it. I'm just listening to it like, what? Something about no, I can end it with a lightsaber?
Yeah, he
Like,
was like,
what
"Who
the
needs
hell is
reasons
going
when you have a
on?
lightsaber?"
Yeah. And like the worst Obi-Wan accent you could possibly imagine.
When I heard it, I was like, X-Wing does a better Obi-Wan than whoever speaking on this damn thing.
Dude,
Thank you.
But you know what? I have to thank that game and that voice actor because he created some of my best live stream moments, in all honesty.
Yeah, true.
Speaking of voice actors, am I the only one who didn't realize that for this new Lego Star Wars game, they brought in all the voice actors from Clone Wars and all those
they got
series to voice the
everybody,
characters
dude.
again?
They did.
No, that's cool.
I had
They
no
did.
idea.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, there's gonna be a few that are not reprising, but for the most part, we're gonna get almost a full reprisal. And that's actually one of the reasons I was initially going to play the game with them all mumbling.
Yeah,
because
now you
that's how I
can't.
love the Lego.
Mumble mode is the OG Lego.
Yeah.
You know?
But now I'm like, well, I kind of want to hear their performance now. So I think first round, I'm going full dialogue.
Yeah. I'm going to go full dialogue for the first playthrough, for sure. I wanted to hit this real quick because my homie, this guy, I like this guy. Bane's rule, man. Anybody who hasn't read through the Bane series, like, read that shit.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, why doesn't make Old Republic content? There's so much love for that era, and it would make them literal truckloads of cash. So I want to talk about that because the Old Republic is as rich, if not richer, than the OT and the prequel trilogy. I would argue richer than. There's so much stuff that happens in there. For me, personally, when I think about it, it's like, I don't want them to touch it.
Well, because they're inevitably going to kill it.
They're going to fuck it up. They're going to fuck it up, dude. Bane is going to be, because we all have this idea in our head of who Bane could be, what he does, the brutal kind of man that he is. And then Disney adopts him, tries to pick him up as a character, and softballs Bane. And we're like, you fucked it up. You fucked up the story. And if that's their first interpretation of the Old Republic, then they've blown the wad right on the first go.
Yeah. My theory is that the remake of KOTOR is the testing ground. If audiences and fans accept this remake overwhelmingly, then we're going to dive into Old Republic, everything else.
What if the remake is shit, though?
That's the thing. If it fails, we are never getting Old Republic series, movies, anything. Because it all started with the game. It all started with that original game. And
This
the love came from
topic
there.
is so painful for me, right? It had nothing to do with the Old Republic. Just the topic of the love for
fuck.
Whenever we talk about
damn it, I love you.
Whenever we talk about Disney trying to take something pre-Disney, right? Now turned legends, things that have come before, and trying to make them new again.
Yeah.
It's such a tough topic to broach, right? Because most everyone wants them to just take the characters exactly the way that they were depicted previously and transport them to live action. And it's just never going to happen like that. And so we always run the risk then of this immediate, almost intrinsic, I don't like this, even before anything happens, right? Just because we know it's not going to be exactly like what we've read about through the earlier iterations of these non-canon depictions. And I don't know how we get over that problem because it's always going to exist.
There's a really easy way to do it. You don't have to have the same character. Now, look at the way that Joker has been adapted throughout every single movie that's ever come out. Okay. We've got Jack Nicholson. My favorite personally is Heath Ledger. I remember when the news came out that I heard Heath Ledger was going to play Joker, and I thought this is going to be the worst Joker in the effing world.
Everyone was like,
no way.
Yep.
No way. Can't happen. You know what I mean? And so it really depends on how you write the character and who portrays it. Now, if you told me George Clooney was going to be Darth Bane, I'd be like, fuck your life. Bing bang. Like, I don't want to see that. You know what? I don't want to see that. And then you can be mystified and absolutely awestruck in the way that George Clooney could turn around and be like, I'm Darth Bane, you know, and he comes in and he's cutting people's heads off. And he's like, you know, you have this massive war with all these Jedi, and the depth and the deep storytelling that you can do in that era can occur. I don't trust our current story group to handle that, because that's a big fucking order. That's like if we really got a proposed Old Republic story or like a Darth Bane story, that's like being in a kitchen and the chef gets an order. It's like Ratatouille. You have to make Ratatouille perfectly for this chef, right? Or for this customer. And this customer, his mom used to make the best ratatouille in the world. How do you make that ratatouille? You know what I mean? You go back to the original recipe. Focus on the original recipe, spruce it up a little bit, put some nice effects on it, but don't deviate from the fucking recipe. Leave the recipe the way it is and then make it look good. That's all you have to do. Am I rambling? I just feel like that's the way that you have to do it.
I'm with you, right? But where I also trend to a little bit not sure in this case is when we say the story group, I'm not even sure I know who we mean anymore, right? It used to mean Pablo Hidalgo very critically, right? As far as I know, Pablo Hidalgo is just writing technical manuals, right? And tweeting occasionally, right? It seems like the people who are in the story group now are assisting Favreau, or now we've got this Joby Harold, or all of a sudden Tony Gilroy's back. It's all of these people that I wouldn't normally equate with the story group. And so when we say we don't know if the story group could handle Bane or some of these other characters, I don't even know who that is. You know what I mean? I don't, would they bring someone in? Are they always just bringing people in now? Do they even really have a story group?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
They do. We last time we saw them was at like
I was in that special when they had the
yeah,
whiteboard and all the
But I mean, are they the ones?
No war, just focus on Star.
But that was in the context of writing comics and writing High Republic Collateral, right?
No, I think they were the. I think they were the one. I think they were the overall, because the like Project Illumination or whatever is like Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, Daniel Jose Older. Like that's a separate. The High Republic, they're allowed to do their own thing, completely separate from most of other Lucasfilm stuff.
Did you see they had dinosaurs written on their fucking idea board?
Yep. And Kevin Scott and Charles Soule shared a Twitter picture of them at an amusement park in front of dinosaurs, and basically Kevin Scott's tweet was like, "Hear me out, it'll work." He literally like word for word said they're gonna make it work.
And I'm with you guys.
And then, like,
right?
it preludes to the Mythosaur and stuff like that. So chill. Like
that's
chill.
fair. That's fair.
I saw all the same stuff you're talking about, right? How has that ever, at least yet, how has that ever manifested into something that we've subsequently been able to consume? I know what a whiteboard is.
Book of Boba Fett, the Loch Ness monster, or the Blue Lagoon monster, or whatever the fuck that thing was.
Oh, you mean the thing they're calling the Sand Ape?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that name.
It looked like the Kraken.
That's the name in the data bank. It's called the Sand Ape.
Like that.
Fucking Hawks just got crawlies.
For me personally, under the scope of things I could complain about with Book of Boba Fett, the Sand Ape is the least of my complaints from a story standpoint. I'm just
emotional
saying.
damage every time he says it now.
But to me, again, Jon Favreau was front and center on the Book of Boba Fett story. Now, I'm sure he had a supporting cast of characters that were booyahing him on every turn, right? And that probably contributed some things there, right? But you know, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about all of that other than I wish we knew, and this is why I think when we haven't had events like Celebration and some of these other places where they used to bring some of these folks out, right? And they used to have them on panels, and there was real discussion, and there was show and tell, and there was the curtain. You know what I mean? Things would be opened up a little bit. That's why I was excited to see they're bringing Doug Chang out for Celebration again. He was confirmed back on the panel, and some of these folks who I think can probably allay some fears about what really is going on there. We haven't had access to them in any way, shape, or form now for years, and it's fueled the story group and what goes on behind closed doors at Lucasfilm, and they're wanting dinosaurs to roam the earth again and all this stuff because we haven't seen anything else.
And to your point, I haven't seen anything that can allay any fears for me when it comes to that story group. Why? Because we don't have any fucking contact with any of them. Who is the story group? Who are you? If you really are out there and you're interacting with Star Wars fans, where are you? Why haven't I heard from you? When I allay my fears, when I bring my fears out and I put them out on, obviously I'm nobody, but I mean, I haven't seen any responses from Lucasfilm, from the story group that's come out and said, hey, I hear what you're saying. This is something that you guys are very interested in with the Old Republic. We do have a story in the works, but hang out because we're working on this, or hang out because we're touching on this stuff right now, or get excited because there's something else coming over here. There's none of that. This is your fucking content. If you don't like it, too bad.
To me, this is the best possible outcome for me to come out of Celebration this year. Are these kinds of things, right? Sure, I'd love to see an Andor trailer. That would be great, right? I would rather them act like, bring out folks and have panels and discussions and do things that show a love for Star Wars again. One of the tweets I saw earlier today was Star Wars Meg interacting with someone who said something like, the hype for Star Wars news is dead. And they weren't saying that there was no Star Wars news. They were saying people no longer care. Right. They don't care about what's coming. They don't care about what's going on behind the scenes because we don't know anything about it. It's not been particularly interesting. Just let me watch another 1 minute spot about Moon Knight. Right. You know, let me go and consume what I know is going on. The interest, the love, the hype, all that stuff has died. And that to me is one of the best things they could potentially revive. Not only with Celebration, but all of these cons now. They're cons springing up all over the place again, like the MegaCon and
they put out like 4 in 1 month. We went from nothing, and then they were like, "By the way, there's 4 tickets are on sale in a day."
And they're not pulling any punches with who they're recruiting to come on the circuits
big
around
names.
These cons.
Yeah, big names.
So I think, for lack of a better word, Star Wars is getting good at failing upwards. Like the sequels were really bad, right? And if maybe they
somebody clip that. Somebody clip that now.
Hear 'em out.
And if they weren't as received like they were, maybe we wouldn't be getting a fully CGI realized Luke that can do all these stories that we want to see. So maybe Disney Plus switching over to the TV 14. I don't know if you guys have seen Moon Knight yet. The first episode's there's blood. It's brutal. There is some of that. So maybe if we're just a little more patient, the Old Republic stuff can be very brutal. Like we really don't know where they can go.
What an interesting fucking foray into the next topic.
You went all the way around that shit.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
around
the world.
I didn't know you were still bendy.
Do you know why?
No.
Because Disney removed the blood and gore.
But then they put it back, right?
They did.
Sure. Yeah, because we noticed.
But it's very strange, right?
Yeah,
So
it is
X-Wing
weird.
is correct, right? Somebody found in the 3rd episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier things that were bloody before became unbloody, and then Disney put out a statement, and the statement went something like, You know what? It was brought to our attention that the third episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier had been modified. We discovered that we had some software program improperly being tested or working that accidentally influenced that particular episode and uploaded it. We're fixing it immediately. Now,
who did that? Like,
oh my god, I'm choking on the bullshit.
You know, it's like
the Chinese hacked our program and they got rid of the blood. Okay,
I mean,
we brought it back. I promise.
This was a real statement from
this. This is I'm not making it up.
Yeah,
the direct recorded it
was
twice.
Brought to our attention.
Backpedal of the fucking century, anyone?
I paraphrase slightly, but that's what they said. This was an oopsie, right? Because I even responded back to Den of Nerds. I was like, oopsie.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It was brought to our attention that you saw what we did in broad daylight.
And we're sorry.
The internet is undefeated, never lost.
I mean, I've been working in IT since there was no IT, right? It is possible to flub something like this up. It's very unlikely.
Like, it's
very unlikely.
Wait, okay, hold up.
Removing the Starbucks cup to a whole new level.
Hold up, though. Can you test this and turn your parental shit on? Watch the episode and then
no.
Turn
This wasn't a parental bit. This had nothing to do.
All
with
this just
business.
happened like March 16th, I think, is when
this was just a content whoopsie. Now again,
yeah,
they want us to believe that somebody was. Maybe they picked a Marvel show that they thought nobody.
Yeah, like who the third episode of Falcon? Come on,
they picked the third episode.
Why though? Why?
And they were tinkering around with something that they own, something that somebody wrote that can influence this kind of thing. They tinkered with it, then they accidentally uploaded it. That's what they would have us believe.
Wow. My question is why? And I need to know why.
Eagle-eyed Reddit user. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Not even that. Not the guy who noticed it. Like, go outside for 5 minutes.
It's the third episode.
Like, the dude who found it.
I mean, who could even get through the third episode one time?
I watched every single episode.
That's what I want to know.
I rewatched every episode 16 times, and I found out that that guy was not uploading the third one. Like, go outside. But my question is why, if it's been released already to the public, and the mass, I'm getting an echo. The mass appeal has already. Yeah, it was you. The mass appeal has already kind of came and went. You know what I mean? And like, what a random episode 3. If you're gonna pick one, like, why take that out, post the buzz, if you will, and remove it? What's the point? Is it that you got a bunch of hate mail from soccer moms and you said this is too bloody, my kid can't watch it, and so you literally retcon it to make the soccer moms happy? So are soccer moms more important than original Star Wars fans? When I say you need to retcon what's going on, you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah. And I've seen this done already, and it went away, and I was actually shocked. But Disney could do this with Disney Plus. Do any of you use the app Vudu for digital copies?
I'm aware of it.
Vudu is a way to, access your digital copies of movies. What the app used to have was a parental setting, basically, where you could either watch the full unedited movie or basically what we grew up with, the made-for-TV version, with beeping things out or editing scenes. And this was available for tons of movies. So there were a bunch of movies that I would sit down with my son, but I would pick the edited version, where they may not eliminate a scene, but they'll mute for a moment during certain language, or they'll just completely cut out an entire freaking sex scene or something that didn't need to be there. And it's like, okay, doesn't affect the story, it's out. And you get this edited version.
Like Starship Troopers when Rico bangs what's her name?
Well, you keep that moment because that's wildly important.
No, it is not.
It's a troll in the dungeon. Troll in the dungeon.
Oh my god, I walked right into that.
It's there, man. They could do it. They could have it both ways. Just put both versions there and freaking put a parental pin. If you want to watch this version, put in your 4-digit code.
That's why I was asking. Like, I want to test it now. What gets cut with the parental codes? Like something. The whole episode, they're not allowed.
Yeah,
to watch
what gets cut with the parental code? Yeah, what gets cut with the parental code is Punisher and
just whatever rating. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, I see it someday though, man. Getting to the point where it's like, I want to watch it, but without the blood. Okay, here's your You get this level now of gore or whatever.
Are you really that shocked at the sight of blood?
Icky.
It's a lot of reasons why a lot of comic movies don't go rated R. Because
bro, do you remember when
all that money? It's just about the money and ticket sales.
When the Xbox Series X came out, and there was a massive push because people with the fear of holes put out a whole like social media campaign about they were upset because the top of the Xbox had holes on it. Did you guys miss that?
Do you mean the air vent so that the heat comes out of it?
Yes, there was a massive push on social media to redesign the Xbox Series X because on the top of it, there were a bunch of holes. And people are like, you're not thinking about phobia.
Tell me that's not real because I'm losing all faith in humanity right now.
Go to Google and type in.
I don't want to.
I don't remember what the name of phobia is, but it's
not gonna do it.
It's a legitimate thing. That was a real fucking thing that happened. That's like me being afraid of farts. Like, humanity, can you please stop farting?
More importantly, that's the straw that broke Matt Cape's back. Is the
the holes on the Xbox is the one that took him out. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well. Cheers.
Oh man.
Oh my.
Good old fart gun.
I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
We got a fart gun in Obi-Wan. All right.
We gotta get out of here before someone makes a bald joke that I object to.
Tripophobia?
I have to slap somebody.
Is that the name of it?
Oh, so then what about that scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit where they're literally throwing the slap-on hole?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, those people didn't.
That's not the only reason, though, Matt.
Carlina said, hey, X-Wing, check Discord, and then sent me a link to my own video.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah.
He's just set into a perpetual loop of his own videos.
Is that a thing that people do?
No, I don't know.
Send you a link to your own video?
You missed me. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Nervously.
Your audio just got a lot better, though.
Mine did?
Yeah, it just kind of popped in like you weren't using your microphone the whole time.
Just
like
popped in there.
You push the cord in a little more.
Maybe I need to be, I don't know.
Sometimes you got to push it in a little more.
About a foot away from my microphone.
Oh. Dropping the dome. Oh my God. Jesus.
Yes.
On that note,
we're all going delirious right now.
I'm kind of drunk. Not going to lie to you. Pretty happy about it, too.
The week's almost over.
Is it? It's Wednesday. It's fucking hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah, where's Mike anyway?
If anybody wants to buy me a monitor, just go ahead.
Another one going?
24 people in here. If anybody wants to just like buy one, send you a picture of my foot or
the foot pics.
I don't know. Doesn't the internet do that shit these days? You can send a picture of your foot and people buy stuff for you.
It's only nerds.
Just nerd. I'm in the right fucking space then.
I think you're describing that wrong.
I've worked in steel toes and hard hats for the last 10 years. I don't know if you want a picture of my foot. I don't know.
Next week, X-Wing's just got monitors all behind him. It looks like it's like Vader's meditation chamber, and it's just a dome of monitors around him. Guys, I got no more room. Look at all these monitors.
Unbeatable at Fortnite. I know where everybody is.
Yep. Because here's the big twist. He is everybody. He's like all 24 logged in on different screens.
Oh my god. All right. Yeah, it's time to edit. Too far. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Boomer Council tonight. I know it was a little different, but
I think appreciate you.
I think we should keep this vibe. I like this vibe. All right, everybody.
Session's not here. We have a good time.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I miss
keep that
session.
vibe. The
would've been-
uncomfortable. Somebody doesn't like the word moist vibe.
I wish we could have had the screaming at the wall this whole time. I wouldn't have had to do any video cuts. You've just been yelling at the wall.
I do miss the screaming at the wall. I'm glad I
Yeah.
could supply the slap to the youngling, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Upsetting.
Very
I
true.
miss you.
And Matt Cave, clearly, moist is fine. It's sand ape that we draw the line at.
Well, that's where you know, starts to get a little squirmy.
You know, whoever came up with that also probably came up with Geode.
You know who it was? It was the story group. It was the story group.
I love you, Geode. I love you.
Oh,
The
God.
vessel. The vessel.
All right, everybody, make sure you subscribe to these amazing human beings. The links are in the chat down below. Leave a comment, like, do all the fucking YouTube stuff. I will see you guys again shortly. We'll see you next time. I love you. Have a good night. May the force be with you always.